Lu Su and Zhuge Liang bid farewell to Liu Bei and Lu Qi, then sailed toward Chaisang. Along the way, they discussed strategy. Lu Su whispered, "When you meet General Sun, don't describe Cao Cao's army as too powerful." Zhuge Liang smiled lightly. "No need to worry. I know how to measure my words." When the boat docked, Lu Su arranged for Zhuge Liang to rest at the guest house and went ahead to meet Sun Quan. At that time, Sun Quan was discussing state affairs with his ministers. Seeing Lu Su return, he asked eagerly for news. Lu Su replied, "I have understood the situation clearly. Please allow me to report in detail." Sun Quan handed him a proclamation from Cao Cao. Cao declared that he was marching south under the emperor's command. Jingzhou had already surrendered, and now he commanded 1,000,000 soldiers and thousands of generals. He invited Sun Quan to hunt together at Jiangxia, to join in attacking Liu Bei and dividing the conquered land, and asked for a quick reply. After reading, Lu Su asked what Sun Quan thought. Sun Quan said, "I haven't decided yet." Zhang Zhao spoke first. "Cao Cao holds the emperor hostage and commands all under heaven. To resist him is unwise. Our strength lies in the natural defense of the Yangtze River, but now that Jingzhou is in his hands, the river no longer belongs to us alone. It is best to surrender and preserve peace in the 6 southern provinces." Most civil officials agreed. Sun Quan remained silent. Later, Sun Quan rose to change clothes, and Lu Su followed him into a side chamber. Sun Quan took his hand. "What do you think?" Lu Su replied earnestly, "What the others said just now is gravely mistaken. Anyone else could surrender, but not you, my lord." Sun Quan asked why. Lu Su explained, "If I were to surrender, I could still go home, hold an office, and live comfortably. But if you surrender, the best you could hope for is a noble title, a carriage, a horse, and a few attendants. You'd no longer rule the South as your own master. These men speak only for their own safety. You must make your own great decision." Sun Quan sighed deeply. "Their arguments disappoint me. You speak my heart. But Cao Cao has just absorbed the forces of Yuan Shao and Jingzhou. His power is enormous. I fear we cannot resist." Lu Su said, "I brought with me Zhuge Liang, brother of Zhuge Jin. He's right here. Ask him yourself." Sun Quan, hearing that the famed sleeping dragon had come, decided to summon all his ministers the next day to meet him. The next morning, Lu Su warned Zhuge Liang again not to exaggerate Cao Cao's power. Zhuge Liang smiled calmly. "I will act as the moment requires." He entered the Wu court, where more than 20 civil and military officials sat in solemn ranks, Zhang Zhao, Gu Yong, and others. Seeing Zhuge Liang's graceful composure, Zhang Zhao, suspecting he had come to persuade them, began sharply, "I heard you compare yourself to Guanzhong and Yue. Yet after Liu Bei sought you thrice and gained your counsel, he lost Xinya, fled to Fancheng, was defeated at Dangyang, and now hides at Xiakou. How do you justify this?" Zhuge Liang answered, "My lord Liu is a man of benevolence. He could not bear to seize the domain of his kin. Lu Tsong was young and misled by slander, surrendering himself to Cao Cao. Thus Cao gained power. Now my lord has troops at Jiangxia and plans that outsiders cannot know." Zhang Zhao continued mockingly, "If you truly compare yourself to Guanzhong and Yue, you should restore order and save the people. Yet since joining Liu Bei, his defeats have only multiplied. How can that resemble those sages?" Zhuge Liang only smiled. "How can small birds comprehend the ambition of a great rock? To cure a grave illness, one must first nourish the body before applying strong medicine. When Liu Bei depended on Liu Biao, he had scarcely 1,000 troops and only generals like Guan Yu, Zhang Fei, and Zhao Yun. Xinya was but a small county. He never meant to hold it forever. Yet with limited men and meager supplies, he burned Bo Wang and flooded by river, frightening Xiaohodan and Chao Ren into retreat. Achievements no lesser than Guanzhong or Yue. As for Lu Tsong's surrender, Liu Bei had no forewarning and refused to seize Qin by force. His loss at Dangyang was because tens of thousands of civilians followed him, the elderly and children alike. He would not abandon them. He chose to retreat slowly, sharing hardship with the people. To be outnumbered is no shame. Even Emperor Gaozu Liu Bang was defeated by Xiang Yu many times but won at Gaixia with Han Xian's strategy. Great affairs depend on grand planning, not empty argument. Those who talk much yet act little are useless in crisis and become the world's laughingstock. Zhang Zhao fell silent, unable to answer. Then Yu Fan sneered. Cao Cao commands 1,000,000 troops and 1,000 generals, now encamped at Jiangxia. What do you propose to do? Zhuge Liang replied. The remnants of Yuan Shao and Lu Biao's men are like swarming ants and scattered birds, hardly worth fearing. Yu Fan mocked. You were defeated at Dangyang and driven to Xiakou. How can you still boast? Zhuge Liang said. Liu Bei led only a few thousand volunteers. How could he match 1,000,000 barbarous troops? Retreating to Xiakou was to await opportunity. You of the Southland have strong troops, abundant grain, and the river's defense. Yet you urge your lord to bow before a tyrant, ignoring the world's scorn. Tell me then, who truly fears Cao Cao? Yu Fan was left speechless. Buji asked, have you come to imitate the tongues of Su Qin and Zhang Yi, roaming to persuade states? Zhuge Liang replied, Su Qin and Zhang Yi were great men. They wore the seals of 6 states and served as ministers of Qin, saving kingdoms, not bullying the weak. You, swayed by a few words from Cao Cao, dare mock them? Buji fell silent. Shuezong asked, how do you regard Cao Cao? Zhuge Liang declared firmly, a traitor to the Han. Shuezong argued, the Han's mandate is fading. 2/3 of the empire already belong to Cao Cao. Liu Bei opposes heaven's will. How can he win? Zhuge Liang rebuked him. A minister must punish rebels against his sovereign. The Cao clan received favor from the Han yet schemes to usurp it. To call this heaven's will is to deny both Lord and Father, unworthy of discussion. Ashamed, Shuezong was silent. Lu Ji scoffed. Cao Cao is, after all, a descendant of Chancellor Cao Shen. Liu Bei only claims descent from Prince Jing of Zhongshan, but that cannot be verified. Wasn't he merely a mat weaver and sandal seller? How can he compare? Zhuge Liang smiled. If you admit the Cao clan has long served the Han, then Cao Cao's treachery makes him both a rebel to the Han and a traitor to his own ancestors. As for Liu Bei, his imperial lineage is recorded. Moreover, Emperor Gaozu himself rose from humble origins to rule all under heaven. What shame is there in weaving mats or selling shoes? Such childish talk is beneath debate. Lu Ji had no reply. Yan Jun asked, which Confucian classics do you study? Zhuge Liang said, those who only recite words from books are pedants. True nation builders, Yiyin Jiang Taigong, Zhang Liang, Qinping, Dengyu Geng Yan, did any achieve greatness by mere paper learning? Yan Jun lowered his head in silence. Cheng Dishu sneered. You speak boldly. Won't scholars laugh at you? Zhuge Liang replied. There are gentlemen among scholars, and there are petty men. The true scholar is loyal to ruler and state, bringing benefit to the people. The petty scholar crafts empty words, adorns rhetoric, and writes endless pages without a single plan. Yang Xiong's writings were famed, yet he served the usurper Wang Mang and died in despair. Such is the petty scholar. What use are 10,000 words of such men? The assembly was astonished by Zhuge Liang's eloquence. Some still wanted to challenge him, but suddenly a man burst in, scolding them. Master Kongming is a rare genius. While Chao's army presses our borders, you waste time in wordplay instead of planning defense. It was General Huang Gai. He turned to Zhuge Liang. Enough of arguing. Save your wisdom for my lord's ears. Zhuge Liang smiled. They questioned me, so I had to reply. Then Lu Su and Huang Gai escorted him to meet Sun Quan. At the gate, they met Zhuge Jin. He reproached his brother. Why not visit me first? Zhuge Liang replied. Having taken service under Liu Bei, I must attend to duty before family. After further reminders from Lu Su, they entered the main hall. Sun Quan descended the steps to greet Zhuge Liang personally, showing great courtesy. Zhuge Liang first conveyed Liu Bei's respect, then studied Sun Quan quietly. He saw sharp blue eyes, a violet beard, and noble bearing. He thought, this man should be stirred, not persuaded. Better to provoke him into action. After tea, Sun Quan asked about the situation. Zhuge Liang replied, Liu Bei's troops are few, his city small, and his supplies scarce. How could he stand long against Cao Cao? Sun Quan asked, how large is Chao's army? Zhuge Liang answered, over 1 million by land and water, 20,000 from Qingzhou, 50 to 60,000 from Yuan Shao's defeated forces, 30 to 40,000 newly recruited in the Central Plains, and another 20 to 30,000 from Jingzhou, no less than 150,000 in total. I only say 1 million so as not to frighten your officers. Lu Su sweated nervously beside him. Sun Quan asked, what is Chao's true intention? Zhuge Liang replied, he builds ships and camps along the Yangtze. If not for conquering Jiangdong, what else? Sun Quan asked for advice, fight or surrender? Zhuge Liang said, since chaos began, you have ruled the Southlands and Liu Bei the Henan region, both resisting Cao Cao's northern dominance. Now that he has unified the north and seized Jingzhou, his prestige shakes the empire. Heroes have nowhere left to rise. If you can use Wu and use forces to rival the Central Plains, act at once. If not, then follow your minister's counsel, lay down arms and submit. But if you pretend to surrender while secretly plotting rebellion, when crisis comes you'll perish instantly. Sun Quan asked, then why doesn't Liu Bei surrender? Zhuge Liang cited Tianheng's loyalty unto death, saying, Liu Bei is of imperial blood and noble spirit. How could he bow to a traitor? Sun Quan's face flushed with anger. He stormed off into the inner hall. The officials sneered, and the meeting ended. Lu Su scolded Zhuge Liang for being too blunt. Zhuge Liang laughed upward. He didn't ask how to defeat Cao, so why should I tell him? Lu Su went to the inner hall. Sun Quan was still furious. Lu Su explained, Kongming does have a plan to defeat Cao. His sharp words were to provoke you. Sun Quan realized this, his anger turning to joy. He invited Zhuge Liang back for a banquet. Over several rounds of wine, Sun Quan said, Cao Cao once feared only Lu Bu, Lu Biao, Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, Liu Bei, and me. Now all others are gone. Only Liu Bei and I remain. I will not let Wu bow to him. I've decided to fight. But Liu Bei's army is beaten. How can we stand together? Zhuge Liang replied, Liu Bei still has Guan Yu commanding 10,000 veterans, and Lu Qi holds another 10,000 in Jiangxia. Chao's troops have marched hundreds of miles, weary and short of food. They are like an arrow at its end. Northerners are unskilled in naval battle, and most Jingzhou men serve him under duress. If Wu and Shu unite, victory is within reach. Once Cao is repelled, we can each strengthen our domains, thus forming a balance of 3 powers. Sun Quan rejoiced. My doubts are gone. I shall raise troops with Liu Bei to destroy Cao Cao. He ordered Lu Su to summon the ministers and escort Zhuge Liang to rest. Zhang Zhao, hearing this, rushed to dissuade him. This is precisely what Kongming intended. When Cao defeated Yuan Shao, his forces were fewer than now. Today he commands tenfold more. To oppose him is like adding firewood to flames. Guyong also said, Liu Bei borrows your army only because he's desperate. You must not be used. Sun Quan hesitated again. Lu Su urged, those calling for surrender only fear for their wives and children. You must not listen. Sun Quan said he would consider carefully. The court split in two. Civil officials mostly favored surrender. Generals clamored for war. That night, Sun Quan returned to his private quarters, restless and sleepless. Lady Wu the Dowager asked why. Sun Quan sighed. Cao Cao marches south. My ministers are divided. Fight or surrender, I cannot decide. Lady Wu reminded him. Have you forgotten what your elder sister told you before she died? Sun Quan suddenly understood, as if waking from a dream. The narrator hints. Recalling the dying words of the nation's matron, Sun Quan would soon call forth Zhou Yu's triumph. What those words were, shall be told in the next chapter. Summary. This chapter depicts Zhuge Liang's first visit to Eastern Wu. Facing skepticism from Sun Quan's court, he skillfully debates over righteousness, legitimacy, and strategy, defending Liu Bei's virtue while exposing Cao Cao's ambition. Through sharp logic and eloquence, Zhuge Liang defeats every scholar in argument, earning both respect and hostility. Meanwhile, Sun Quan wavers between war and surrender, torn by conflicting advice. With Lu Su's steadfast persuasion and Zhuge Liang's provocation, Sun Quan finally resolves to ally with Liu Bei against Cao Cao, setting the stage for the legendary Battle of Red Cliffs. The chapter highlights Zhuge Liang's wisdom, Lu Su's loyalty, and the internal divisions within Eastern Wu, paving the way for the coming tripartite balance of power. Knowledge points. 1. Debate with the scholars. This famous scene, where Zhuge Liang verbally defeats Wu's scholars, is a literary embellishment from the novel. Historical records such as records of the Three Kingdoms Sengguozi do not mention such a debate. It serves to dramatize Zhuge Liang's intellect and rhetoric. 2. Lu Su's opposition to surrender. Historically, Lu Su did advocate for an alliance with Liu Bei against Cao Cao, but Romance of the Three Kingdoms amplifies his courage, portraying him as the sole voice of resistance, whereas in reality Wu's ministers held more complex and mixed opinions. 3. Zhuge Liang's diplomatic mission. In history, Liu Bei sent multiple envoys to Wu. It wasn't Zhuge Liang alone who persuaded Sun Quan. The novel credits him entirely, reinforcing his image as a near-superhuman strategist.